This is the WZ-111-5A, the Tier 10 Chinese Collector Heavy Tank, a vehicle that has so many incredible things going for it, like great damage per minute. Running Rammer on this vehicle is going to allow you to achieve 2,830 DPM, which is incredibly good. The vehicle features great dispersion at 0.326, and even pretty solid standard pen at 260 base. Unfortunately, the only real downside of the 5A is the big detrimental failure, the 303 millimeters of heat penetration. There is only one other Tier 10 Heavy in the game that features just as bad pen, and that is the IS-7 with 303 millimeters of APCR pen. Now, I personally believe that not only should the 5A get a big heat pen buff, but the IS-7 should also get a big APCR buff. I've said this time and time again, but I don't understand why certain tanks are nerfed on their capabilities due to how much pen they have. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. How is it fair that one heavy can go frontline, penetrate an E100 turret hull down, not be penetrated back? Let's say a Concept 1B with Khalid has 340 mils of heat pen. Why is it fair that a Concept can go fully hull down, penetrate an E100 turret easily with premium ammo, but a 5A can't? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Same for really a lot of heavies. So the 5A and the IS-7, both, in my opinion, deserve massive pen buffs. Probably about 20 mils on the IS-7, and I would even be willing to say 30 mils on the WZ-111-5A. I think it should have the same heat pen as either the Type 71 or the WZ-113, something around that area. It would actually make this tank incredible. There's a lot of people out there that are worried it would make it overpowered. Why would this make it overpowered? Like, it wouldn't change the tank's capabilities. It would just allow it to, I don't know, fight other heavies that have good armor without having to struggle to aim for a hatch or a weak spot somewhere. It would be fine. Like, if every heavy had poor pen, it would make sense, you know? If every heavy had poor pen when trying to shoot at each other and you had to aim for certain weak spots here and there, then it would be fine. But it's not like that. It's, you know, even the vehicles like Chieftain Mark 6 have 330 mils of APCR pen. I mean, even the Mark 6 pen craps on this thing. So it's just rather unfortunate to have situations like this in the 5A. So I got two replays here for the 5A. Well, I figured I'd talk about the tank. I just played these games, but yeah, so I just figured it'd be a good thing to talk about. Now, we obviously know that Wargaming is planning on rebalancing all of Tier 10, as we already know the American tanks, what's getting rebalanced, or at least the general gist of it, as yesterday I posted my video on the balance changes, and we obviously had 9.1 rebalance all of Tier 10 about a year ago. Wargaming said they're planning on rebalancing Tier 10. Hopefully, what we're going to see with these balance changes is specifically autoloaders getting nerfed to the ground. I really, really hate autoloaders right now, and I think a lot of people are in the general agreement that autoloaders are busted. Fatness had a stream like maybe 2 months ago where he tried acing every medium, and after the stream was over, it was like a 10, 11-hour stream. He basically told me when we were talking in DMs that autoloaders and in general like update 9.1 has destroyed the fun of the game, and it's terrible. Like, Meadsy agrees. If you ask any player that's decently skilled at the game, they will agree. They know how broken autoloaders are. They might spam them, but they still understand. It's kind of like how the Sheridan missile was at one point. So yeah, right now autoloaders are a massive problem in the game. It seems like, to my guess, Wargaming is going to try and nerf the majority of the strong autoloaders in the game right now. But the problem is, it also looks like they're buffing all the single-shot vehicles. We've seen the E6 is getting a DPM buff of 150. That's a lot of DPM for a vehicle that already has a lot of DPM. The Concept is getting a DPM buff. The E5 is getting a DPM buff. What we're noticing here is if Wargaming's buffing all the single-shot vehicles DPM, we might see this for all the other, you know, nations as well. If this ends up happening, it's just going to make the game even more toxic and fast-paced, because now you're going to make one mistake and now you're going to be not only mauled by autoloaders, but you're also going to be mauled by single-shot vehicles. So, I don't know. We'll see. We will see what happens to the game. I personally think just autoloaders should be nerfed, and a couple changes here and there should be changed. But overall, if autoloaders were just nerfed a bit, the game would be fine. It would actually be really good. But we'll see. We will indeed see. As of right now in this battle, you can see we've dealt 1,700 damage, and we've had to struggle to pen some of our opponents. Like the Foch, we almost couldn't pen with our heat. That Minnow, you literally saw, we had the smallest little spot to actually try and penetrate that Minnow with. It's a bit rough to try and penetrate opponents with the 5A. Now, obviously, when shooting at a 50B, that's a bit of a different story. I mean, this was probably one of the most atrocious teams I've seen in a while. The enemy not only were able to capture base C and B with no problems whatsoever, but then we also just got absolutely smoked on the overall game itself. Base capture wouldn't even have mattered in this situation. Thankfully, before the game ends, I'm able to get one more shell out, dealing 3,500 damage, but holy bad. That was an atrocious team. You can see the 5A gun is great. When you're in a situation like that game, and you don't need to worry about pen all too much, it works amazing. But now we're going to break into a perfect replay to showcase where the 5A needs a heat pen buff. This game, we are up against an E100, a 5A, 113, a YAG. Alright, we're going to aim it on the E100. Nice pen into his lower plate. Not all too bad. Okay, well, not bad at all. The WZ-113 GFT is going to pull in front of me here. A little unfortunate because I kind of wanted to poke this E100, but here we go. E100 shoots, misses the shot. Now we're going to aim it on the lower plate. Okay, very easy pen. And, ooh, the YAG rolls me for 900. Breh. That is a nasty, nasty roll. Right now, you are looking at the YAG, right? And that is what the YAG looks like with standard ammo. Okay, that makes sense, right? Because it's a little bit slanted down, so the lower plate, which is about 250 normally, is going to be like 270 at this angle, maybe 280. Heat pen does not have shell normalization. What that means is that against heat, that lower plate is probably about 310, 15. I'm going to load heat, and you're going to see that I literally cannot pen the YAG anywhere. And it's a perfect example where if I was in a Concept 1B, or if I was in any heavy that has decent heat pen, it just would be easier. That is heat right there. That is what heat looks like. I mean, bro, what is that? Why does the 5A not have good heat pen? Look at that. It's terrible. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. The fact that that tank destroyer is able to sit in the open, exposed, and I cannot pen it, that is so stupid. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. Once again, this is the side of the YAG we're looking at here. That is heat. You are looking at the side of a YAG with heat. I can't pen the lower plate. I can't pen the side armor. The most ironic part is that the lower plate is an easier pen with AP than it is with my heat shells. I mean, bro, it's so bad. Why does this exist? So we're gonna aim it an easy shell into the YAG's lower plate here. At this point, we're up to 1,800 damage. Not too bad. We get shot by the grill for 600. Unfortunate, but we see that the WZ-113 GFT gets also shot by the grill. Once again, wait until you see this. We're going to load in heat here. That is heat on the upper plate of a WZ-113. Now, the 113 is known for having an incredibly weak upper plate, especially on flat ground. Any tier 10 heavy that has decent heat pen will easily cut through the 113's upper plate. And yet, here we are, not able to even slightly cut through the upper plate with heat shells. You're going to see that again here. The 113's going to turn towards me. Look at what it looks like with heat here. That is heat. Like, what am I looking at? It's awful. It is absolutely atrocious. So, I know I'm making a big deal about this, but seriously, in my eyes, the 5A is in a massive need of a buff. The heat pen is currently unacceptably bad, and it needs to be better. The fact that you're in situations like this where you cannot pen, I mean, tier 10 heavies that don't even have good armor, it's stupid. It really is stupid, especially when the entire front upper plate of the 5A is a penetration for everybody in return. So, as you can see, the gun is nice. Again, when you're in an opportunity like this, and you have the opportunity to farm people, like we are up to 3,900 damage at this point, and we're going to get another nice shell out, 4,400 damage. Then we finish off the grill, 4,600 damage. Like, this game was good. We were able to get a pretty solid chunk of damage out, but if I was in any other heavy, like if I was in an IS-7 in this situation, I could have done the exact same thing. Exact same. If I was in an IS-7, I also probably would have gotten more bounces and been able to get away playing more aggressive. It's just, I don't know. The IS-4 could have done the same thing. The 5A just needs a heat pen buff. That's really all there is to say. That's my take on what needs to happen. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.